Good afternoon, brothers and sisters.
Good afternoon.
How are you today?
Good.
Good. You have your lunch?
Yes.
You all sleepy? I don't know about you, but I was a bit sleepy. Then I caught myself and I straightened myself, and then again sleepy. Then I opened my eyes and I meditated. Still sleepy, but not so bad. Yeah. So drowsiness can occur when we are trying to meditate. But for some people, at night when we try to sleep, not drowsy. Yeah. Our human body, our mind is very strange. Yeah. Okay, before we jump into today's topic, which is the perfection of concentration, our usual ritual. Who is new here today? Okay, since we'll go on the right first. Yes, introduce yourself and how you got to know about this group cultivation.
Hi everyone, my name is Thomas
We can pass him the mic. Yeah. This is a very special mic. You will not hear yourself, but you will be recorded.
My name is Thomas, and I got to know about SGC from Sister Louise and Sister Billing. Yeah.
Okay. Who is Sister Louise and who is Sister Billing?
Sister Louise is Sister Billing is over there.
Yes.
And yeah.
Who is Billing?
Billing.
Who is Billing? Don't know who is Billing? Don't know who is Billing. Where is Billing?
Sister Billing is over there.
Where? Who is Billing?
Right hand side.
Yeah. How come you never dig a hole and hide inside? People call you, then you don't wave your hand. Yeah. Stand up lah, don't be shy. Okay. Everybody can see him?
Oh, sorry.
Fine. So tell us, what are you doing now? Besides being here? Yeah.
Want to listen to the Dharma.
Okay. Like, what are you doing besides that? Like, on a daily basis, what do you do?
I am a student in NTU and currently studying Chinese program in NTU.
Chinese programming?
Yeah.
What do you mean by Chinese programming?
Chinese program.
No programming. I thought, like, computer engineering is tough enough. You want it in Mandarin, in Chinese. Wow. So you're studying Chinese program in NTU?
Yeah, in the School of Humanities.
Yeah. Okay. And what do you do in the Buddhist Society?
I am a Dharma Propagation Director in NTU Buddhist Society.
Yeah. So if you have any children or niece or nephew or long distance cousin or whoever who is entering university and want to go into NTU, then ask them to look for him. Yeah, we have NTU Buddhist Society. Yeah, it's been how many years? Really? 30 over? How many years?
34 for this year. Yeah.
34 years. Yeah, the Buddhist Society in NTU has been in there for 34 years. When Sifu was in NTU, I was inside I was fairly active to some degree. I was more active in the whole JCRC really.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was in the committee for the Buddhist Society and also the camp. Yeah. So if you know of anyone who is going to NTU or NUS, there are Buddhist societies there. Yeah. Most people don't. Sit down. Before this, they all know that there are Buddhist societies in the universities. How many of you don't know? Yeah. So now you know. Yeah. In NTU, in NUS, there are. In SIM, SMU there are also. SMU just got started for about 1-2 years. And then in the polys, the polys had it many years as well. Ngee Poly, Nanyang Poly, Singapore Poly. Republic Poly is a bit unique. It is very new, and so I think they have some policy about that. Yeah, so I don't think they have any religious society inside. Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh yes. There are societies for Christians, for Islam. Islam, I think. There are also Indian society, Hindu society. Back in my time, there were 7 Christian society. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. There is the Navigators. There is the CCC. There are a lot. Yeah. We only have one Buddhist society. Yes. All right. Round of applause. Okay, who else is new here? Left and right. Today we go free and easy. Yes. What is your name?
My name is sorry. Yeah. Hello.
Don't worry. It's not connected.
Okay.
We're connected. Yeah.
My name is Pei-Un. I'm introduced here by my friends Xiu Ming.
Swimming.
Swimming, yes, yeah. So this is my first time here. I would like to know about the Dharma teaching.
Good. Welcome.
Thank you.
Did you come here alone besides being introduced by her?
No, I come with my husband.
Hello, husband.
Yeah. Kim Piao.
Yes. What is your name?
My name is Kim Piao.
Huh?
Kim Piao.
Kim Piao.
Yep.
Okay. Kim Piao. Is it Tua Tiao or Tu Tiao? Nice name. Welcome. Who else is here for the first time? Or anyone who has, yes? Have you introduced yourself? Red colored t-shirt? Never, right? Yellow, then it's seated behind. Yes, so tell us your name. Mother push son, son push mother. 来嘛，不要不好意思。啊？Don't be shy. It's very simple. I ask you a question, then you just tell me your answer. Don't have to write an essay, okay? Yeah. What is your name?
Vivian.
Huh?
Vivian.
Vivian. Okay. Hello. Say hello, Vivian.
Hello.
Okay. Then, who is next to you? You don't know him, You come over with him and you don't know who? Huh?
我的儿子。
你的儿子哦，你是纯 A 的。
呀。
第8波到了，没问题。那您的贵姓大名？儿子叫什么名字？Jasper。儿子Jasper。姓什么？廖。Jasper Liao. Okay, good. Welcome. And so Jasper, did you drag your mother here or your mother drag you here? Or you all walked into the wrong place? Supposed to go to, I don't know where. How do you get to know about this group? Mother. So, 那母亲你是怎么知道这个共事组？
我在 Facebook。
你参加了 Facebook。然后就看到了。是不是你问说可不可以来的那个？
我没有问。
你就来了。
我有 admin 嘛。
你有 很好，OK。 OK， 很好，欢迎欢迎。你不要介意，我每个星期都问的，新人都一定要问一次的，调查户口一下。没有，因为我们主办这个活动哈，也希望知道说，就是透过什么管道最适合比方说您透过这个面部那个 Facebook 哈，然后就得知我们的这个活动。那可能有一些人他是透过朋友或者是同事介绍，那所以我们就想一想 ，OK， 下一次我们有其他活动应该怎么去宣传好不好？阿弥陀佛。那但是我们这个是第5波道，师父不介意的，知道吗？师父其实不介意用中英文，因为在有一些道场呢，他们的信徒信众多数是那个中华校生，所以有些道场邀请师父开示的时候呢，都是用华语但是这个 SGC 呢，一开始的时候，主要就是针对年轻受因缘教育的这个信徒们所以主要是用英语但是偶尔我用下福建也可以用福建上的主要是带你儿子来主要是给他来的那儿子呢？儿子用英语还是华语？都可以，哇，太好了，那还有谁 ？Is there anybody else? The lady in front of you also in red.
The lady. Yes. What is your name? 你好。Hey.
My name is Eightfold. I came to learn about Sutra on Facebook.
I see.
Yeah. So then one of the sisters recommended there's a meditation which I always wanted to learn. So I stepped into.
I see. Welcome. Yes. So you came on the right week, because this week we are going to cover perfection of concentration. Yeah. Is there anybody else who have not introduced yourself? Oh yes. Hello. Tell us your name. Yes. And how you got to know about this group?
And I know you since you are in Concentration.
Yes. Yeah. So, your name again? How 听不到耶？
我就讲了蛮大声的。
蛮大声的。
Baby 比你大声。
Look at them and tell them. I know you. I don't need you to tell me. You tell them. Look at them and tell them. Shy 啊。
你都很 shy 啦。
Okay, let's let him off. His name is Louis. Yeah, his name is Louis. But you must stand up and let people see your face. So he came to see me many years back. So how many years? At least maybe 2 to 3 years. Yeah. So on and off, he will leave a message on Facebook, saying that you need my guidance. You need he find the teaching very good. You need the teaching, and then he will say, how to find you, Sifu? Then every time I will tell him, come and look out and attend the class. And he say, okay. Then after he will disappear. Then after that he will say, then you go contact police. Yeah. So finally this time round, he asked again, and somebody else asked, so where is this place? So I give the address, and then after he asked again, so where is this? So I give him the address, and he really turned up. So give him a round of applause. 所得云开见地。Okay, so welcome to SGC for those who are new. This is weekly spiritual group cultivation. It is currently at 2 p.m. But next week onwards, we're going to shift the time to 1 p.m. instead. Yeah, because in the morning we have classes from 9 to 11. So the break is like 3 hours. That's like so we're going to shift it to 1 p.m. Then you end about 2:30 to 3. Okay. Yeah. So what do we do here? We do short chanting. Yeah. This is a key feature. One of the key features, because typically chanting in the various traditions is something that is quite core. So if you go to a Chinese temple, you go to a Thai temple, you go to a Myanmar temple, Tibetan temple, you have lots of chanting. Yeah. 汉传道场诵经多不多？多八不到的。汉传道场多哦，地八不到。呀，对吗？这个汉传道场的那个诵经要诵多久？
几个钟头？
至少打底1个半小时。他最后一个炉香赞，一开始起香，香赞。Just 2 characters, not one. No, this is a record. Everyone should use it. Next week, like you come. No, I'm not making a joke out of it. Yeah. There's a purpose for that. Yeah. It actually helps you to calm down. Yeah, but for many people, including myself when I was young, you just then you're gone, you know. Yeah. And the best thing is each of the character covers different number of notes. So some of it is ban high, some yang high, some si high. So other like so on, you know. But as I said, there's a purpose for the different practices. Yeah. When I was much younger, chanting was quite a drag. Yeah, partly because I was shorter and there's like a lot of people and I would run out of breath. Yeah, literally run out of breath. And then there was the language. Yeah, the Chinese characters. Someone recently just told me, today is Sunday, told me on Friday. She said, 师父, Sing Jing, it's very long. I have to memorize it. Sing Jing, like the one we recited earlier, is the shortest in all the chanting we do. This is the shortest. Besides 三声佛号, this is the shortest. Even Tapezu is longer than this. Yeah. This is only 260 characters. Yeah. And the pace that we chant is actually a bit faster than the norm already. The norm is much slower. Yeah. Then you have the movie dong, dong. Then you cannot go faster than the movie dong. Yeah, so there's a time and place for that. And before we even chant the Sing Jing, you have Wu Xiang Zhan. Yeah. Then after that, you may start off with usually you don't just chant Sing Jing. You usually chant, let's say, Jing Gang Jing or Mi Tuo Jing or Ba Shi Ba Fo. Then after that, Zhan Fo Ji. Then after that, Jian Fo. Then Rao Fo. Then after that, Hui Xiang. Or then San Gui. Then after San Gui, then another Ji Song. Then Hui Xiang. Yeah. And that's the short one. The long one can be a whole day, can be a whole week. Yeah. So I grew up visiting temples with my family, and I observed that that is how it is. If you are like most of the younger generation, then it might be a the entry level may be a bit high, especially if you are English speaking. So in our puja we have Pali chanting and then Heart Sutra. The Heart Sutra is still there, so that we don't get disconnected from the Chinese lineage as well. Because there's a lot of wisdom within the Chinese lineage. So with the short puja, then we have short meditation. Today is shorter actually. Usually we go for another 15 minutes. But for some it may feel like, oh, you mean that's short. But that's really short. Because in our monastery in US, we usually go for about 1.5 hours of sitting. There's this story about how if you go to the Zen monastery to what we call quietening. So in the Zen monastery, they don't do anything but meditate. But before you can even enter to stay there, you'll be received by the guest monk, the Zhike-shi. And the Zhike-shi, who is the guest monk, will attend to you at the ketang, which is the guest reception. So at the guest reception, he will ask you to take a seat, then he will light an incense, and then he will stick the incense in, and then he will also sit. He will not talk to you. He will just say, and he will take a seat, cross-leg, and he will sit and cross-leg also. And he will not open his eyes and talk to you until the incense is burned. And the incense will typically burn for 1 hour or 1.5 hours. So if you move before that, then you can go back already. So the entry level for Zen monasteries, as the story goes, is actually very high. So in our monastery, because we sit for long duration, after a while you don't really think much about it. So among our peers, like at least you can sit for 1.5 hours, if not 2 or 3. So among our venerables, there was one who went to visit other centers to learn. So there's this account about how he went to one of the center. I think it was a Japanese Zen center. So when he went there, nobody attended him. I think there wasn't any monk present at the point in time. They were all lay disciples. He was a monk, but when he arrived, not that we expect people to bow down, but there was nobody who even talked to him. So he just sat down and he just meditated for about 2-3 hours. Then when he finished, all of them crowd around him, master. So the impression people have about meditation is this: how long you can sit, how still you can sit, and so on. In Buddhism, the term for meditation, there are many terms for meditation. One of the common terms that we use for meditation is think. What is today's date?
19.
It's 19 days before.
Is it 19?
Yes.
Yes, it's 19. So the word that we usually use is think. But there's another word that is that usually prefix it, which is chan. Chan think. You don't see?
Very small.
Not so clear.
Very small. Too bright. to run. They cannot do anything.
You should ask them to put curtains up there now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If not, we should ask them to lower the. I've gone to many Buddhist centers, and all their projector screens are high up there. Yeah. Let me see. But okay, that's the way they design it. If you ever get to design a Buddhist temple hall, please make sure that the projector screen is a bit lower. Yeah. If you notice how all of you have to. Yeah. So anyway, is this clear? Okay. So Chan. So the word Chan in Japan is called Zen. How do I present? Z-E-N. Can't remember the. Never mind. So this actually came from this. The Japanese Zen tradition. The word Zen is the Japanese way of pronouncing the word Chan. The word Chan. If you look at the sutras, you'll find that there's another word, not Chanting, but Channa. Channa. And Channa, in turn, actually comes from Jhana or Dhyana. I think it's DH. Dhyana or Jhana. Yeah? And this word is a term that the Buddha used to describe how it is like when a person has meditated to a certain degree. Yeah? So far so good? So in Hokkien it says 解仙. I don't know where this term comes from. Yeah? And do you know the Chinese character for 解仙? Probably 坐禅. So from the word Chan, Channa, Jhana, Channa to Zen, then we have 坐禅, Zazen. Yeah? Then we have 行禅, walking meditation. Then at some point we even have like 动中禅, 生活禅. Yeah. So this term became synonymous with the practice of meditation. Yeah. But what is meditation? Just as there is the word Chan and there's the word Jhana, the Buddha was not a Chinese, so he didn't use the word Chan. And in fact, the practice of meditation itself, he didn't directly use Jhana. Jhana is the result after you meditate. Yeah? And you meditate fairly well. So, the practice of meditation is also known by the term bhavana. And bhavana is in Chinese. Oh, okay, because we zoom in. Okay. So, bhavana in Chinese is 修习. Not 修行, 修习. What does it mean? So bhavana actually means repeated cultivation, repeated correction. Bhavana. Yeah. If you look at some of the sutras, then you will see this term, 修习. And when you look at this term, then it's no longer just about sitting there. Yeah, so originally, while the Buddha spent some time in meditation, when he talked about cultivation, this term is better translated as cultivation. cultivation or repeated cultivation. Whereas today, bhavana is many times translated as meditation. So, when I say bhavana, some of you may not be familiar, but if I put metta bhavana, then you're, yeah. So if you're with a Theravada center, then when I write this, then you, yes, right? Because metta bhavana, 实心观, the cultivation of loving kindness. Yeah. So a lot of terms, a lot of terms. But what is meditation? Or what is this bhavana? It is the cultivation of the mind, basically. Cultivation of the mind. There are many ways to cultivate the mind, but cultivation of the mind is not a separate thing by itself. It is together with the other practices. So in Buddhism, there's a threefold practice: 戒定慧, 戒定慧三学, cultivation of precepts, concentration, and wisdom. These three. If we look at it in this way, then there's a certain sequence. But in fact, the first one, sila, which we have covered some months ago, the word sila, translated as 戒, there's another meaning to the word sila, which is behavior. So if you consider all the different precepts, then you realize, hey, it's quite true. Because all the precepts pertains to your bodily and verbal actions. Your bodily and verbal actions. So with 戒, with precepts, then you purify your body and speech. But you may still have intent that is unwholesome. You may still have frustration in your mind. You may still have anger. You may still have greed. You may still have desire and so on. Then you practice the one part of meditation, which is what we call 定学, or samadhi, to quieten the mind really. Oftentimes translated as think. In actual fact, there's another term for it. It's called 静虑. So, 律 is discipline. So, 静虑is about the discipline of the mind such that it is quiet, free of discursive thoughts. Then it makes sense. That's what we do, isn't it? When you meditate, you try to quieten the mind. If the mind is disquiet, is unquiet, there's a lot of thoughts, then there's a tendency for it to give rise to defilements. And through defilements, then we will act. Without defilements in the mind, there's no reason why we will act in this way or that way. So that's why there's this sequence. First, quieten the body and speech. Then quieten the mind. But just doing that itself, you're not enlightened yet. However, doing this makes the mind suitable, ready to what? Ready to observe. That's where the last part comes in. The last part, which is cultivation of wisdom. Now, before I go further, I want to relate a conversation I just had after lunch. And there was a series of questions posed by different individuals. And one of them was, let me see if I can recall. There was a question, and it was about whether cigarette is okay to take. How many of, okay, I shouldn't ask. If I ask how many of you smoke, then you feel like, well, Sifu is picking on you. But think about it. Is it okay for Buddhists to smoke? Before you answer, think about it. When you smoke cigarette, you're not killing anybody, you're not harming anybody. I mean, ignoring the fact that the planting of tobacco crops may harm the environment and so on and so forth. Okay, think about it. And besides that, in the process of harvesting, there may be insect that's killed and so on and so forth. Even if you ignore that, because normally in Chai Sin, there may be some insect that's killed, you know. Yeah. So then is smoking cigarette okay? Yeah, that was the question. Not that Sifu want to smoke, don't think Sifu is this crazy monk. No. Yeah. My reply was not trivial, as you all know. People ask a simple question, yes and no. I give a half an hour discourse and threatened to give 3 more hours of explanation. So, a simple point I put across was, instead of just asking, is it okay to smoke? It's important to look at the Buddhist approach in terms of the end goal. Only when you understand the end goal will the practice make sense. In Buddhism, the end goal is, what is the end goal? When you become a Buddhist, what's the end goal? Like, let me give you an example. If you become a Hindu, end goal is to return to God. Yeah, union with Brahma. Yeah, if you become a Christian, end goal is to return to communion with God. Yeah, yeah. I mean that this is a fact. I'm not misquoting. I hope. Yeah? Islam is the same. There are many different religions. You do things for a reason. You accept a religion for a reason. Yeah. If there's no difference, if you accept or don't accept them, why accept one religion than the other? Yeah. So what's the purpose? What is the end goal for Buddhism? Do you all understand what I'm saying? Oh, is this the wrong goal? 这个是不是地方不好？糟糕啊！你们不知道？不要说。How many of you know what is the end goal? How many of you don't know the end goal? How many of you don't know what is the end goal? You know, end goal, like the final goal. Yeah. End goal, yes. Maybe I should write it down. End goal. Oh. You know, goal. Not the hard but what are you trying to achieve at the end of the day? Yeah, in Buddhism. Nirvana, Sifu, you don't know. More important that you must know. Sifu confirm no. You don't know. Yeah? So, Nirvana is the end goal. But what is Nirvana? What is Nirvana? Pure land. Okay, let's write it down first. So,
yes, Sifu. You know, I heard.
Wait. Hang on. So, tomati kudasai. Sumimasen. Cultivation. Kudasai.
So, you know, smoking is bad for your health.
Okay.
And sometimes you will get lung cancer if you smoke also.
That's true also. That's true also.
And also I heard that the doctor says that once if you smoke, your heart will get black inside.
Yes, don't worry, Sifu is not going to smoke. So, my point. Wow, this tastes so good. Wow. If you're trying to quench your thirst, then you should drink water. If you're trying to attain Nirvana, then you must do certain things. Nirvana is the end of suffering. But you cannot simply end suffering, because suffering comes about due to defilements. As long as you have defilements, as much as you wish to end suffering, you want to end suffering. You hope that suffering can end. As long as there is defilements, there will be suffering. So that's why the approach is always to remove defilements. But how can you remove defilements? There are reasons why defilements arise. As long as there is ignorance, defilements will arise inevitably. But how can you remove defilements if ignorance is there? As long as there's ignorance, the defilements will arise. So we have to remove ignorance. But how is that ignorance? Because there's no right seeing. There's wrong seeing. As long as there's wrong seeing, there's no chance of removal of ignorance. As long as wrong seeing is still there, ignorance will arise. You may wish, you may pray, you may hope, but ignorance will still arise. So you need to remove wrong seeing. But how can wrong seeing be removed? Yeah. As long as the mind is not focused enough, the mind still have discursive thoughts, then it cannot see clearly how things are. Yeah. As long as there's no right concentration. As long as there's no right concentration, where the mind is clear, subtle, and malleable, then it cannot see things as they are. And as long as it cannot see things as they are, there will be wrong seeing. In Buddhism, we say all things happen due to conditions. Yeah? So think about it. When we say, coming back first to the question of, can you smoke cigarette? Without going further, yes, this is actually at the end of the Noble Eightfold Path. Yeah? We learn from the teachings that the Buddha uncovered for himself, experienced the Noble Eightfold Path. Yeah? And that's why when he taught, he teach according to what he experienced, how he removed suffering on his own. So when he gave the teachings, he highlighted that there is some state, there is a state where suffering comes to an end. But what is the state that we are trying to end? Yeah, which is basically suffering. But what is suffering? Suffering is this cycle of birth and death. What we call samsara. For us, how do we relate to sensu? How do we relate to it? We贪生怕死. For us, for sentient, unenlightened beings, we crave for birth. We fear death. 贪生怕死. Yeah? We want birth. Birth, good. Yeah? Not so much about having babies, but about being alive. How many of you don't want to be alive? If you have that thought, you should see me after this. You need counseling. As much as the Buddha teaches us to 了生脱死, to be liberated, free of birth and death. He don't encourage people to commit suicide. Yeah? So strange, you know. He teaches us how to transcend birth and death, but not commit suicide. Why? Because he observed that throughout all history, as long as the craving for life is still there, then no matter how you die, you're going to just hold on to any form of existence that comes your way. Any chance you can exist again, you just grab onto it. Any chance for you to take rebirth, you just grasp onto it. And unfortunately, that way of grasping often results in painful existence. Painful existence. So, his approach is what we call the Noble Eightfold Path, in which meditation is part of it. And you can see clearly here, the last part, this is the number 8 factor for the Noble Eightfold Path, the 8th branch of practice. The Noble Eightfold Path starts with right view, right intention as a basis. And then with that, it shapes how we think. We are borrowing the Buddha's wisdom to look at this world. In our day-to-day, we look at the world in a certain way. We think, I have one toy, I'm happy. I have 2 toys, I should be happier. I have 3 toys, lucky better. I have $1, okay, $2 good, $3, yay. Even in school, how many stars did you get? 1 star. Teacher, how come I only have 1 star? He has 3 stars. Since young, we are being engraved with this idea, having more is better. As we learn the Dharma, we borrow the Buddha's wisdom and look at this world. Hey, more doesn't mean happier, Okay, we try. But we may not be totally convinced, and nothing wrong with that, but we try. Then after we try, we see whether it makes sense. And when it makes sense and it works, then you become more convinced, I think it makes more sense to live our life this way. Now in this larger picture, then you can say that the end goal, if you consider the end goal as E, end goal, and then where we are as S, or end goal as N, Nirvana, end goal. Then the start to the end is a path. Only when you want to go to the end goal, then will this path key make sense. So for example, after this, some of you will go home, some of you will go to the shopping mall, some of you maybe are rushing off for a flight. And if you are rushing off for a flight, where will you go? Changi Airport. If you happen to go to stay in Changi, then you will also go in that same direction. But if you stay in, let's say Woodlands, then going to Changi Airport will be wrong, isn't it? If you stay instead in Queenstown, going up north would be wrong. So the direction that you are going, the bus number, the train that you take, there's no right and wrong train to take. Only with respect to your end goal, do you say this is the right direction or not? So this was I didn't answer in such detail, but this was the gist of what I shared earlier. Before you think about, is cigarette okay to take, we should ask ourselves, are you talking in terms of the end goal of Buddhism? Because Buddhism starts from samsara to Nirvana. But some people want to be in samsara. Now there's something to laugh about. Not for us to laugh at that and say, how can you used to be? But more about, maybe they don't see it. Maybe they are really having a good time in their life. So who are we to tell them, no, you are suffering. No, I'm not suffering. So sometimes in class, I will ask students, write down 3 things that got to you, 3 things that upset you, 3 things that irks you. And usually students will, then they will start writing. But sometimes, some students, after hearing that question, they will ask me, Sifu, I have nothing to write back. And I'll be like, you mean in the past, like 1 week, you didn't get upset or frustrated about anything? No. Like, don't even, no. So I was like, how about past 3 weeks? And then you know what they said? there was really 1 or 2 persons in different classes who really said that. So I was like, so 3 weeks, never get upset. No, don't get upset. Okay, how about past 3 months? No, never. Past 1 month? No. Whole life? No. If it was me last time, I would think that 来剃管了 you know 来剃管了 last time. Yeah, if I was just newly ordained, I would really think, well, but by the time I encountered these individuals, I took it very differently. I look at him and I say, well, maybe you are more enlightened than you know. I mean, seriously, right? If for your whole life you have never been upset before, I mean, you are very close to enlightenment, maybe at least 2nd or 3rd stage already. Who knows? At least 2nd stage. Huh? Because your greed and desire, anger already attenuated, you know. Yeah, who knows? Maybe you are not aware. Yeah, or maybe you will be what you're trying to tell me that you can okay, then you don't have to write. So after 5 minutes, while everybody is busy writing, then he raised his hand again. He said, yes? Then he said, Sư-phụ, I think I have something to write. Like, oh, okay, then you write lah. Then he said, then I asked him, like, so what do you want to write? So he said, oh, it was a class in Buddhist library. So then he said, once a week I get upset. Oh, what is it? He said, I cannot find parking. So cannot find parking. Yeah, he says that even when he arrived for a 7:30 class, he arrived at 7, no parking. So he came earlier, 6:30, still no parking. Wow. So he had to come 1.5 hours beforehand, but he's quite swell in a way. Because many times students send me to Buddhist library for class, 7:30 class, reach at 7, reach at 7:15. Usually you can find some work. Or maybe I'm not aware. Sometimes maybe the student drop me off, then they go and circle a few wrong rounds. Yeah, I think fair enough to say that it's not easy. Yeah. So for him, that is his samsara. And if he finds that is okay, I assure you, Sư-phụ will not go around and say, hey, if you're suffering, you should get rid of this suffering. It's okay if you're happy with that, no problem. Yeah. Think about it. In all the suttas, the Buddha didn't go around, after enlightenment, he didn't go around hey, come be enlightened. No, he didn't. But instead, it is said in the sutta that every morning you wake up and then you meditate and you observe the world and you see, who is ready for the teachings? Who is ready for the truth? Who has little dust in their eyes? And some suttas would actually describe how the Buddha would go on long distances. Yeah? He would go out of his way to find those individuals who are ready for the truth. You don't just anyhow force people, hey, you must believe, you must become a Buddhist. No. But he will find those who are ready for the truth. Then he will share with them. And very quickly, they learn the teachings, they practice, and they will attain enlightenment. There are those who also know about the Buddha's teaching in the Buddha's time. Sometimes students ask me, how come we are not born in the Buddha's time? There's a high likelihood, given that you are in the Buddhist temple attending a Dharma class, high likelihood we all encountered the Buddha before. Maybe not this current Buddha, but maybe past Buddhas. Yeah. Or maybe when the Buddha was giving teachings, we were nodding away. So until now still. At least you're talking more. So okay, no problem. So don't worry if sometimes you attend class and okay. At least once in a while wake up and listen to it. Okay. Yeah. So we respect to the goal. Yeah. For someone who wants to get out of samsara, then the path makes sense. For someone who do not want to get out of samsara, then the path doesn't make sense. And that is why in my class, I would often ask students to write down things that upset them. Yeah, because if you just think about Nirvana, think about enlightenment, Buddhahood, for most people it is very big, very far away. Yeah. You talk about suffering, you talk about defilements, greed, hatred, delusion, 贪嗔痴慢疑二见, then recite all the 51种那个心所法. Then oftentimes it flies across the head. Yeah. But when you write down your own struggles, the things that upset you, that is your direct experience. Yeah. And to me, if after learning the Dharma for, let's say, 3 months, you have a better idea of what get you upset. Even if you have not overcome it, to me, your 3 months as a Buddhist, you have not wasted your time. And if after knowing it better, you can know, okay, how to overcome it, but you still haven't overcome it. You know the method, but you still haven't overcome it. And then you start trying it out. And after trying out, maybe it goes very smoothly, like some people. There was like one of the best immediate result one, you know. It was so immediate, I was surprised myself. I know that the Dharma is good, but there was one time, one student brought her father to see me in Concentration. So we sat down. I usually talk about laksa, right? Yeah. So, but actually I don't always talk about laksa. So I sat down with the uncle, then I talked to him for a while, then I asked him, I think, was it him? I think his daughter learned laksa from me, so wanted me to teach. So instead I asked him, Uncle, what do you like to eat? So for him, he liked to eat char kway teow. So I told him about char kway teow. And after the char kway teow teaching, right, he understood what is emptiness, more or less. Then I finished, I keep quiet, he also keep quiet. Then he looked very thoughtful for a while. Then after a while, his face light up and he said, "Wow, Shifu, this is so amazing. The knot in my heart, the xinjie that has been in me for 10, 20 years, wow, it's gone, you know." Well, when he said that, I was like, "Oh yeah, as much as I know the Buddha's teaching is very powerful, but that was the most amazing experience that someone related to me in front of me. I just explained that, he just think about it for a while, then he said, "Hey, I can put it aside." I said, "Wow." But you must know that teaching managed to do that only because he was ready. And he wanted to get rid of his own samsara. If a person wants to stay in samsara, I was telling Thomas earlier, and he was like, initially he had a shock face. I said, for someone who wants to be in samsara, then defilements is good. Why? Defilements get you to stay in samsara. So if you want to stay in samsara, you should have greed, hatred, and delusion. It helps you to stay in samsara. Yeah? Only when you realize that, okay, samsara is not ideal, then you will want to move out. Then you will look at the practices and consider, okay, no wonder we have to do this. Then it will make sense why we must quieten our mind. Only when you see how the mind is agitative. When the mind is agitated and agitating, you can see that it leads to frustration. It leads to this uneasiness, dis-ease in us. Then it will make sense why you want to meditate. So nowadays, in the past 5-10 years, a lot of people want to meditate. Why? Seems like everybody is stressed out. Old people stress, working people stress, young people stress, kids also stress. So this is one reason why people meditate. If you only want to be stress-free, you can also try meditation. In the Western world, they have condensed mindfulness meditation into what we call MBSR. Mindfulness-based stress reduction program. MBSR. I think about a few days ago or a week ago, there was a newspaper article, isn't it? Yeah, about how mindfulness is taught in public school in Singapore, and they are not even Buddhist school.
But still, sometimes the Buddhist school don't start, like they don't even get to do it at Mahabodhi.
Yeah. So let me encourage you to take a copy of that and send it to the school.
How
do I put it? Yeah. Sometimes this is the irony, though. You would think that if you get into Fozong, to Buddhist Federation, then you can have a say. Then when you're in Buddhist Federation and you say, and you do have a say, then the response sometimes is, but it's you say one month. Other people, the parents don't say what you say. So the irony is, if enough parents respond to this, then we have more bullets to go to the table, to say, hey, a lot of parents are requesting for this. So even better still if you just, if you can get some number of parents, you don't need a lot, just a way for them. Yeah. And then it doesn't have to be a complete email. You just forward the Straits Time article to and CC photo and Mahabodhi School. Yeah. And basically just make a suggestion like, hey, this is so wonderful. Oh, it's lovely. So when are we going to have this, Yeah. I was told about the mindfulness article last week, before it came out. Actually, in the past, in Mahabodhi School, there was a Venerable, Pashin Pasir. She approached me. She was doing her master's thesis, and it involved a program to do in the public school. So together we got the Mahabodhi School principal to approve a program that lasts for maybe about 6 months to 9. Yeah. And in these 6 to 9 months, we have the kids doing regular practices. Yeah. But nothing spiritual. They just learn to quieten and to observe the body, mind, and the thoughts, and the emotions. Yeah. And from there, she did a study and then collated and did a thesis based on that. And the university actually found it very meaningful. Unfortunately, we're not able to continue because there was some technicalities. So when I heard about the newspaper article, I was quite excited. Yeah. So how many of you have children or family members in Mahabodhi School studying? Yes. Mahabodhi or Mito? Mahabodhi. Can just write in, no problem. Won't get back one. Get back proof of it. So, if you want to find some ways to relieve yourself of stress, whether it's meditation, there are those whom I recommend for them to do chanting. Yeah. Just chant Namo Guan Sin Pusa, Namo Guan Sin Pusa. Yeah. The trouble is, most people only want to chant when they are stressed. Most people want to meditate only when they are stressed. But these practices need to be done before you are stressed. Yeah, it's like studying for exam. Yeah, you need to study before your exam, not during your exam. Yeah. So I hope you have some idea of the background of meditation. But so far we haven't talked about meditation. Yeah, this is the power of the Zen monk. Talk all about the things I never thought about it. I'm going to spend 5 more minutes. We're going to end a bit earlier. We already exceeded time, but we're going to end a bit earlier than usual. Usually it's 4. So, I'm going to give you a very broad overview. The Buddhist meditation that is are only two parts to it. Guan. Translated is what we call Samatha and Vipassana. The practice of Samatha is basically quietening. Or stilling. So, 止息妄念, to quieten the mind. So you'll notice that in different centers they have different techniques. In Theravada centers they usually rely on the Visuddhimagga with 40 different objects. So in terms of the practice of Samatha, it follows a standard model. Different schools, they may apply the model slightly differently, but the model is always 所缘的心与能缘的心与所缘的境. So the mind being able to focus and pay attention, and the object that you pay attention to. By anchoring the mind onto an object, by paying attention to the object, you anchor the mind there and then keep it there. If you can do that, then that is called Samatha. Because by doing that, while you are doing that, your mind may wander about, then you apply your mind back to the object. You do that repeatedly, then it's called Samatha. When you succeed, that is called Samadhi. The term think is one of the features of the mind when you keep doing that. The Buddha described this with the cow, example of cow. Some people, when you read the sutras, always feel like, how Buddhism always talk about cow, talk about field, farming. Why? Because India was agrarian in those days. So example of cow. It says, just like if you have a cow that is free, it will wander about, roam here, chew here, chew there, chew all over the place. Now, if you have a pole that is stuck in the ground, and then you tie a rope to the pole, tie the rope to the cow, then what will happen? The cow will still try to roam, but as it roams until the edge of the string of the rope, you will get stuck. Then you will come back. Then you will chew here, chew there. Then you roam. Once you go to the edge, the perimeter, you will get a tug and you will come back again. And over time, you will get bored and you will get tired. Then you will come back to the pole and settle down and guai ji. The Buddha used this to describe the mind and the cultivator. The mind is represented by the cow. Our mind is described by the Buddha in many ways. One of them is like the cow that roams about. And then one is like the chicken that go around eating. And then one is the monkey. In modern times, we often hear about the monkey mind. That is actually found in the sutta. The Buddha gave an example. In this case, it is the cow. The pole is the breath, or the object, and the rope is our mindfulness to pull it back. So in the Buddhist teaching, mindfulness is actually the precursor to samatha. So if you have mindfulness, it can give rise to samatha and samadhi. By being mindful, you bring the mind back, bring it back again and again to the object. Early on, when we do meditation, what is the object? The breath. You can observe the breath on the nose, on the teeth, on the nose teeth, on the upper lip. You can observe it in the chest. You can observe it in the abdomen. Many times when people come to Buddhism, to religion, you all prefer the monk or the priest to tell you exactly how to do it. Yeah, you feel good to be constrained by somebody, you know. But actually, in Buddhism, we are not interested to constrain people. Yeah. So, do you want me to constrain you or don't constrain you? I want to constrain you. Don't constrain me. Constrain or don't constrain?
I think constraint is good. Means you do the proper way.
How constraint is good?
Maybe you pass.
Yeah. So most people think that if you constrain you, that's good, because that's the proper way. But in fact, there are some areas where, there's a proper way to do it, but there are some areas of the practice, many ways also work. Yeah. So by artificially constraining you, it may actually do you more harm. Because think about it. Now, without closing your eyes, I give you a short time to observe your breath. Okay? When I strike the bell, I want you to start observing. Don't go to wow, shit. Just sit. Don't have to move. Don't move. Wherever you are, don't move. I mean, she's getting something. Don't do that. Very short one. Okay, try. Okay, ready? When you hear the bell, you start observing. If you can meditate here, you can meditate anywhere. When you hear the bell again, you stop. Okay, ready? Stop already. That's why I don't need to go. It's very fast. Yeah, so how many of you managed to observe your breath? How many of you didn't manage to observe your breath? God teach you. How many of you observe it in the nose area? How many of you observe it in the chest area?
Chest.
How many of you observe it in the stomach? Some of you may observe in a particular area because that's what you were taught. Yeah. But for different people, I have observed different parts is more prominent. For some people, the moment we ask you to observe your nose area, it's very clear. But for some people, then there are some people, very naturally, the chest area is very prominent. And yet there are others, when we ask them to observe the abdomen, it is very clear. Yeah? So depending on which one is clearer, you observe that area. Yeah? I prefer not to tie you down to say observe here or here. Yeah? There are some practices I will insist, but there are some practices like the breath, to me it doesn't matter. So with the object, think about it. Honestly speaking, in that short, about less than 10 seconds, how many of you managed to observe one time of the in and out breath? Clearly, put up your hands. When I say clearly, I want you to put your hand on the floor and touch the floor. Try. Can you feel the ground? Yes. How does it feel? Is it hard? How do you know? Because you can feel it, isn't it? Yeah? Do you have to guess?
No.
Do you have to like, aga? Is it cold?
No.
Is it warm? Some warm, some cold. You see? Same floor, no? But different parts you may feel differently. Different people feel differently. Yeah? Now, I want you to compare. Compare you holding, pressing down on the floor versus when you were observing your breath. Which one is clearer?
The breath.
For you, it's the breath. When you press down on the floor, it's not as clear.
No, it's hard.
I know it's hard. I'm saying the hardness, which is clearer to you?
The heart.
The hardness is clearer, isn't it? Yeah. For most of you, the floor should appear clearer to you than the breath. Yeah. Now, the challenge is to observe the breath until it is as clear as when you're pressing down on the floor. It must be that clear. Yeah. If you want to talk about meditate a long time, how come no improvement? Well, because you have not focused and apply your mind to that degree. Yeah. Usually when we observe the breath, it's like roughly there, roughly. Yeah. Occasionally, there's a lot of clarity. Occasionally, you can really feel the whole body moving, you know. You're not moving your body, but you can feel the whole breath. I'm breathing. Yeah. And sometimes it's a prolonged period. Sometimes it comes and goes. Sometimes it never comes. Yeah. The whole sitting you are thinking about this, thinking about that, and thinking like, how come Sifu still don't finish? Yeah. And so when we meditate, the first thing is to find an object. Yeah. The object of meditation. And this is where Sifu decides. Yeah. Use your breath. Okay? Use your breath. Let me repeat. Use your breath as the object of meditation. What is the object of meditation? Breath. Yeah? Your breath is the object of meditation. The object of meditation is your breath. Your mind anchored onto. Where should your mind anchor onto? His timing is together with mine. Now, why is it that Sifu keep repeating this? Now, if I ask you, what do you do when you meditate? Let me assure you, okay? If I give you a piece of paper, some of you will write down, observe the breath. Some of you will don't know. How many? Correct? How many of you are clear what to do during meditation now? I can assure you, after everything I've said, some of you may say that, after this, how? Why? Because I have conducted many meditation classes before. The best case was, the most interesting case was, I think the second last or almost the last lesson, then one student came to see me after class and then said, "Hey Shifu, can I ask you, yes? How to meditate?" And then someone asked me that, "Shifu, when I meditate, I become dumb, then I observe, then I see there's a light, there's a golden color thing there, then I go after the golden color thing, and after that, golden color become very big, and I say, wait, so how do I do that?" So remember, that's why I said, when you observe the breath, that's okay, but you must observe your breath. Okay, remember. If you don't observe your breath, is it okay? If you want to tell people you learn from me, you must observe the breath. If you want to progress, you must observe the breath. Okay, for start. Later stage, you observe other things. Okay, but if you don't later go back home, then you, I think maybe I can try this. Okay, what must you observe? The breath. Observe the breath. So for start, use that. Okay, observe the breath. When can you observe the breath? Anytime. Yeah, you don't have to purposely look for a cushion, sit down. Yeah. Then how? You take a train. Ding, 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 ding. Excuse me, I want to meditate. Yeah. Then you go to work. Yeah. Then excuse me, I want to meditate. Yeah. As and when, like for example, how many of you drive? If you drive, before you start off, just spend 1 minute. Yeah, sit down, turn on the aircon. Yeah, and then Don't switch on your radio first. Enjoy your car. Let me teach you. How much do you pay for a car? A lot of money, correct? So enjoy the car. Sit in the car, and then just quietly meditate for 1 minute before you start. Yeah? You go off to work, send your children or what, ask your children, okay, Papa or Mama, you meditate for about 1 minute. Now you help me look at the watch. Give them something to do. You help to keep time. Okay? 1 minute. You just observe, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, and consciously breathe in, breathe out. Yeah. Bring your mind back, focus. Then when you finish, okay, drive. Yeah. Before you drive, you can do dedication. In all things, be well happy. Yeah. Dedicate your day. May I dedicate this day to mine and others' welfare and benefit. Yeah. Then when you finish work, before coming back, again, meditate. Yeah. When you arrive at work, don't immediately rush. Of course, you must give yourself some time. Yeah? Park your car, then stay in your car. Nice, your car, nice, sit. Okay, meditate. Okay. Don't meditate in the road. Don't have to jackroot. The only way you can meditate is open your eyes to meditate, okay? Be aware. So there are different kinds of awareness. When you meditate, when you are in a group, have general awareness, not the kind of intense awareness. Intense awareness, everything disappears. Yeah, then you jalan. So whether you drive or you take MRT while waiting for the train to come, don't stand there and then complain. Yeah, recently I teach in the Asset French Business School. And then in the morning, 8 plus, a lot of people, yeah? But think about it. Just now, when you were touching the floor, if you focus strongly on the floor, how many people is in the room? Doesn't matter. And when you are focused on the contact, all the people disappear. When you are waiting for the train to arrive, stand there, you just be aware of the standing posture and just focus on that, or focus on the breath, or focus on the feet on the ground. Just take your time, collect yourself. Yeah? You're going to go to work. Yeah? A lot of important things to do. Recollect yourself. Don't get yourself disturbed by external, things. Yeah? When you're in the train, hold on to the bar, focus on the contact. Cold. Okay. Yeah. But you must be alert also. Then your long bag, then your foot inside, then people come inside. Taking. Now, if you can do that, then you are doing bhavana. Okay? Then you are doing bhavana. Next week, you continue on this. You go into a bit more detail on the sitting posture, then you go into how to tackle the different situations in meditation. Yeah? And you'll find time to also do a bit of walking for you to try it out. Alright? Any questions? If not, put your palms together.